The set of Outlander had never felt so tense. The Highland winds that once carried laughter and creative energy now blew across a silence thick enough to slice through. Caitriona Balfe, known for her grace and composure, sat alone in her trailer, scrolling through her phone, her hand trembling slightly. The headline glared at her like a wound that refused to heal. Sam Heu accused of involvement in secret Afghanistan operation. It felt unreal. Sam, her co-star, her friend, her on-screen husband, now the center of a scandal that no one seemed to understand. For a moment, she could only stare. Words blurred. Her heartbeat echoed in her ears. Afghanistan, she whispered. The word didn't make sense. Sam had never been to Afghanistan. At least, not that she knew of. The article was vague, full of unnamed sources and shadowy claims. It alleged that Sam had been linked to a British aid mission in Afghanistan years ago, one that reportedly went off the books, involving money transfers and missing equipment. There was no proof, just hints and speculation. But it was enough to ignite chaos. Within hours, Outlander's producers were in crisis mode. Publicists issued half-statements. Fans flooded social media. Journalists camped outside the studio gates. And Caitriona, the woman who had stood beside Sam in every storm, found herself pulled into the vortex once again. That evening, she went to see him. Sam's trailer was dark, the blinds drawn. When he opened the door, she almost didn't recognize him, his usual calm replaced by an exhaustion that clung to his face. "Kate," he greeted softly. "You've seen it?" She nodded, stepping inside. The air smelled faintly of whiskey and rain. Scripts lay scattered across the table, untouched. "What is this, Sam?" she asked, her voice steady but firm. "Why are they saying you were in Afghanistan?" Sam ran a hand through his hair, exhaling sharply. "Because someone wants a story," he said bitterly. "And they found the perfect target." "Is any of it true?" she pressed. He hesitated, just long enough for her stomach to drop. "I wasn't a soldier," he finally said. "But, before Outlander, I volunteered with a relief program. It was supposed to be humanitarian, medical support, supply drops. What I didn't know was that the organization had ties to a private contractor. Things went wrong. People disappeared. And now," he trailed off. Caitriona could barely process it. "Sam, this is serious. If the press digs deeper." "They already are," he interrupted. "Someone leaked old documents, photos, logs, payments. They're twisting everything." Silence filled the trailer, heavy and suffocating. The next day, the network demanded statements. Lawyers hovered. Filming was suspended. Every member of the crew was told to keep quiet. Yet rumors thrived like wildfire. Some believed Sam was innocent, others whispered that he had been part of something darker. For Caitriona, every glance felt loaded with judgment. Even her own husband, Tony McGill, had called from London, his voice cautious. "You should distance yourself, Kate. This could ruin your reputation." But she couldn't. She knew Sam, his kindness, his honesty, his integrity. He was no criminal. Late one night, she drove to the studio again. Sam was still there, pacing the lot, his phone pressed to his ear. When he saw her, he ended the call. "They found something," he said quietly. "A shipment I signed for, medical supplies, went missing in transit. It ended up in a conflict zone. They think I knew." Her heart sank. "And did you?" He looked at her, tired, wounded, but unwavering. "No. But I should have asked more questions." Caitriona took a deep breath. "Then we'll prove it." Over the next days, they worked together in secrecy. Caitriona used her connections in journalism and activism to trace the relief group's old files. Sam reached out to a former colleague, a man named Lewis, who had also volunteered. One night, a file arrived in Caitriona's inbox. It was encrypted, labeled simply, "Afghanistan, 2012. Inside were photos, crates marked medical aid, but containing weapons. Financial statements linked to offshore accounts. And at the bottom of the list, Sam's forged signature. Her blood ran cold. "This was never about aid," she said. "Someone set you up." Sam's jaw tightened. The contractor wanted a scapegoat when the truth came out. "I was young, naive, and easy to erase." They realized the story wasn't about what Sam did, but about what others had done in his name. Days turned into weeks. Caitriona kept filming, pretending all was well, while secretly helping Sam collect evidence. They met late at night in quiet cafes, whispering over documents, piecing together the puzzle. Then came the breakthrough. Lewis, the ex-volunteer, agreed to testify. He confirmed that Sam had been tricked into signing the documents. He thought it was food aid, Lewis said. We all did. Until we saw what they were really sending. Caitriona urged Sam to go public. If you stay silent, they'll destroy you, she told him. And so, he did. In a live interview watched by millions, Sam sat before the cameras, calm, vulnerable, but resolute. Years ago, I was part of a relief program I believed in. I trusted people I shouldn't have. I never profited from it, never knew what was happening behind the scenes. I regret my silence, but I won't regret trying to help. His words were raw and honest. For the first time, the public saw not a star, but a man, one who had made mistakes, but not crimes. Caitriona watched from the wings, tears glimmering in her eyes. She had stood by him, not because of duty, but because she believed in him. The storm slowly began to settle. The real culprits were exposed through investigative reports. Sam's name was cleared, though the scars of betrayal would remain. When the cameras finally rolled again on Outlander, the energy on set had changed. Every scene between Jamie and Claire felt heavier, deeper, as if their shared ordeal had infused their acting with a new kind of truth. On the final day of shooting, Sam turned to Caitriona and said quietly, "Thank you. For believing in me when I didn't believe in myself." She smiled, tired, relieved, but proud. "That's what Claire would have done," she replied. "And maybe, so would I." As the Scottish mist rolled over the moors, erasing footprints and memories alike, Caitriona realized something. Some stories, no matter how dark, could still find redemption. And in that moment, amid the lingering echoes of accusation and forgiveness, the bond between her and Sam, forged through truth and loyalty, became unbreakable.